We're back. Hey, everybody. I'm Michael Hall.
Hi, and I'm Robert Wolff, and welcome to Innovation Coffee, where the coffee's hot and the innovation is hotter. I actually have a cup of coffee today with me. Did either of you
Ooh,
bring coffee with you?
that's a
I
nice.
already drank mine.
Oh, okay. Let me take a sip here real quick. Excellent. So, Innovation Coffee, great. This week we have a very special episode for you because it's the first week of 2024, and Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Hope you all had a wonderful vacation, break, whatever it is that you celebrate during this special time of the year. But now we're back. We're here and we are ready to talk about all of the amazing things that happened in and around ARM, our developer community, in the year 2023. So this is our annual year-in review, Innovation Coffee. And so each of us have brought some exciting things to the table, things that we want to talk about. I don't know that this is going to be a full hour episode, Mike. Gabe, I don't think so, but
I don't know, man. You get us talking. You never know how long it's going to go.
But yeah, so we have our coffees and we have some interesting things that happened in 2023. So let's start talking about that. Who wants to go first here? Because I think that we could kind of just do a roundtable, right? Like just kind of talk about the things that we were most excited about.
I'll go first. But before I do, if you like this content and you want to see the rest of our shows in 2024, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now so that you get notified whenever we have a new episode coming up.
I like that.
So I'm going to kind of go backwards in time. So the last big thing that we did before the holiday breaks back in early November was KubeCon. And for me, that was my first ever KubeCon. I've been kind of getting that FOMO every year, twice a year, really, seeing colleagues and stuff and friends go to KubeCon. So that was my first one. And it was really great for me, not just for the event itself, but because I had the opportunity to reconnect with so many friends that I hadn't seen in years. I saw George Castro, I saw Amber Grainer, folks that I met early in my open source career back in the my Ubuntu days, and got to hang out with them again. I got to see Swapnil, who I haven't seen in years, who runs the Fourth Industrial Revolution news site. So for me, that was really fun, just being able to get to hang out with people that I used to hang out with 10 years ago, but haven't seen recently. So that was my most recent big one. So let's go around. I'll hand it off to Gabe next.
All right. So in my last job, I never went to events. It was hole up in a cubicle, do your work, don't interact with anyone else. So
did you get in trouble if you interacted with other people?
No, you could chat. It wasn't part of the job.
Yeah, you're paid to be on Reddit and Discord. It's a weird kind of job, isn't it?
Yeah. And so I believe the first real event I went to in for anything was GDC early 2023. And I think that was a great way to kick off because it was so big in every sense of the word. Like all the booths were gigantic and it looked like all these companies put a ton of budget into it. A lot was going on. We had a lot of people from ARM working at ARM's booth. So it was a really large booth, really active. It was the first thing that kind of introduced me to, okay, this is brand new. But it's great. And so GDC was definitely a highlight for me.
So both great events, KubeCon North America and GDC. I want to, instead of diving into every single event, I actually want to take a second here to just list off some high level data here in terms of what ARM has done with events around the year and what this developer evangelist team has done throughout the year. So ARM as a whole, our developer team, not ARM as a whole. ARM as a whole has done way more. Our developer team, the developer organization at ARM, has attended 28 developer-centric events this year. And that is freaking crazy. We have seen over 2,000 and connected with over 2,500 developers. That means that us going to these events, we've actually connected with these developers and brought them into our developer program. Now, of these 28 events, the developer evangelist team, us three, we went to KubeCon in EU, which is one I went to, KubeCon North America, All Things Open. That was Michael's event over here. We did Lenaro Connect, which touches back to my previous, employer, which was Lenaro. And I got to see all of the developers there that I used to, work with on a daily basis. We did Open Source Summit up in Vancouver. Microsoft Build. Gabe, who did you interview at Microsoft Build? That was trying to remember his name. We'll remember his name. That was a really good episode that we had.
That was a Windows on ARM person.
It was a Windows on ARM episode that we did. We did the Embedded Vision Summit, Open Sauce, which was its debut year last year in 2023. I say last year is like 4 days ago, but like its debut year, Open Sauce, and we will be back again this year. We have RustConf, GopherCon, which was local here in San Diego to Gabe and I, Unreal Fest, the ARM Developer Program Anniversary out in Cambridge, and GitHub Universe. And I don't know if I missed any, but that's quite the roster of events that we went to, and quite the amount of developers that we were able to connect with throughout these events. It's 2,500 developers who we brought into the program there. So it's pretty amazing stats, guys. I think that's pretty good.
Marcus Perryman is who you were thinking of.
Marcus Perryman, there you go. Yeah, he's a good guy too. Nice. So that's something I just wanted to shine some light on there. I thought that was pretty good.
That was the second thing on my list, was just events in general.
Oh,
I used to travel to events all the time before the pandemic hit. But I started working at Influx Data at the start of 2020, and then the pandemic hit and everything shut down. Events all went online. So for like 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, there weren't many events to go to. And I really kind of missed that. So having the opportunity to start going to these events again and traveling to them again was really a highlight of this past year for me as well.
Very nice. And we all know Gabe doesn't like events.
No, I wasn't sure how I would react to them, but I really enjoy them. It's kind of fun to go to these events, talk to just an assortment of different developers, and you learn a lot too. Like every event, I learn quite a bit about it, either a new technology or a new product. And so
very nice.
I'm enjoying it.
Was there anything you wanted to add to that, Michael, in terms of events or
no, like Gabe said, having the opportunity to talk to so many interesting people. Every event I came away with a list of people that I met and talked to and things to follow up with them on. We've gotten a lot of really good guests for Innovation Coffee by going to these events and talking to people there. I think like all of the last 3, 4, or 5 guests that we've had on were people that we talked to at KubeCon and got them to agree to come on the show. So they're really good for meeting people and making those connections and boosting the really incredible guests that we get to have on here.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So let's talk about the virtual presence here. All right. Because, I want to say, while the events were really fun, there was quite a bit of stuff that we did in terms of the virtual space. And one of the big things here is obviously Innovation Coffee. All right. Innovation Coffee. We have multiple virtual presences now, not just Innovation Coffee. It started that way. Now we have also the ARM Tech Talks, which is hosted by Tobias McBride and Mary Bennion. And these are happening every week on Tuesdays. Those have been going on for a while now. Amazing series that you can go check out. Gabe, if we can get that link put into the description later on, that'd be awesome. We have these Innovation Coffees, and we have the launch of ARM TV. So ARM TV was another huge venture that we went through, and we will be continuing to post these. But in 2023, we did 2 ARM TV episodes, and one was with Dr. Ruman Chowdhury, and the other one was with Dr. Anusha Ansari. And these are 2 pretty fun episodes. We got to interview these ladies, and they were these are pioneers in the industry. So you have Ruman Chowdhury, who talked about hacking AI to shape the future of humanity. And then you have Dr. Anusha Ansari, who talked about generative AI and decoding the generative AI landscape. So, I don't know if you guys watched those episodes, but I definitely had a lot of fun hosting those. And I think it was just a great thing that ARM did this year in terms of bringing developers to different spaces here and getting an opportunity to talk to, ask questions, and interact with these, I want to say, grade A top tier developers in the industry.
They really are. I think that's my favorite thing about the ARM TV shows is that they get these really incredible guests. Like Dr. Ansari was, instrumental in that first X Prize, that
Oh yeah.
the private space travel that kind of kickstarted everything. So being able to get somebody like that to come on at one of our shows is just such a huge opportunity for us and for our community to, be able to hear us talk to them, ask the questions that are coming from our community, the things that our developers want to know about.
And there were thousands of people who signed up to these two, hundreds of people who attended. All right. And I thought they went very well. Now, another great statistic here to highlight is the Innovation Coffee itself, right? So this show that you are watching right now, 1,150 plus watch hours. All right. And this is over the course of 48 episodes. So we did 48 episodes in the year 2023. Actually, I may be a little bit off there. Let me see. Somewhere between 48 and 45. But that's pretty crazy. There's 52 weeks in a year, and we were able to do 45 episodes. So rain or shine, we're here showcasing something. Don't get me wrong. We do also, I'm counting episodes that we did at events like, GDC, when we did, I think, the 5 or 6 episodes. We did a few episodes at CubeCon and stuff like that. So we do make up on some of these. But 48 episodes in a year and 1,150 watch hours. I think that that's just amazing. That just shows that, I hope people are enjoying this. And, we do look forward to having people tell us what they are interested in watching in the future so that we can bring those types of guests on and talk about that type of content. And Gabe, right now, I can see you're sharing these things. We did talk about the Tech Talks. Make sure you go check out the Tech Talks. These are great. These are a great way for you to go get to know the ARM partners, hosted again by Tobias McBride and Mary Bennion at ARM. And then we have the ARM TV, which is TV on demand, ARM TV on demand there under the developer hub. So Innovation Coffee, ARM TV, and Tech Talks. Now, Mike, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on office hours, because that's another live presence that we also launched this year.
Yeah, so that launched before I joined, but I kind of dove right into those. Those were one of the first things that I really got actively involved in when I started here at ARM, and those have grown now too. We used to do one of those a week, and it was kind of it was real early morning for people on the West Coast, and it was kind of later in the day for people in Europe. But we did those once a week for 6-7 months. And the demand was just so high for people in so many different time zones that we ended up splitting that into 2 separate office hours. So now we do 2 of them every Tuesday. The next one's going to be this coming week, the first one of the new year. So yeah, they've been really good. We've had some really good conversations there. It's a really good time to just kind of touch base with people in our community to see what they're working on, what their interests are. It really helps us align the work that we do with what's going to interest the people who are already there in our community. And we've gotten some really good guests out of that. And we had somebody from Microsoft come on as a guest here on Innovation Coffee, because I was talking to someone in the office hours who's seen a previous episode and said, hey, I'd really like to have you guys talk to somebody about .NET. And that person actually went out and reached out to Microsoft for us to get us that guest. The office hours, they go really well. A lot of good conversation there. We've had a lot of ARM experts join those as well to kind of give us a look at what they're doing internally and to help people out with a little bit more technical knowledge than I necessarily have.
Yeah, go to the link down below that I have scrolling on the screen to visit our Discord to be able to watch.
I should mention, if you've not been to an office hours, they're all hosted in our Discord. So we use one of the Discord voice stage channels. It's just called Office Hours. And all you got to do is show up. You can just listen along if you like, or you can join the stage and talk. We really like having people on to share what projects they're working on, talk about maybe any kind of struggles they've had with learning a certain technology. It's a really casual kind of conversation. There's not an agenda. There's not a presentation. You don't have to be prepared before you come join it. It's just a friendly hangout for us to talk to people. And I really love them. I really enjoy them. And we've had some people start joining from the UK. So we've had Jayant on. We've had Alex Mercer from our team. And we've had Gemma Paris on the earlier office hours now. So they're really getting quite busy. And really a lot of fun. So you should join them if you haven't.
I like to also mention that they are off the record, right? So they are not being recorded, meaning like you can go there and you can genuinely be yourself. You don't have to worry about, I guess, things being recorded and or shared across the interwebs afterwards. So this is just, again, like Michael said, very casual and hopefully informative discussions between fellow developers in the world.
Yeah.
So Gabe, we kind of took over this conversation. I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to bring in here, because I have a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a bunch of things too, and so I was kind of just letting you control the flow because that seems to be working. I don't think, have we mentioned all meeting together with the team in Cambridge?
Well, we did not talk about that one. I know Michael has one about the Michael wanted to talk about the meeting in Austin. So we've had actually multiple. Let's set the stage here. Throughout the year, right? Like, you got to remember here. Let's look back. 2022, the end of 2022. This was the beginning of the developer program, right? So this was the foundation, the conception of this developer organization that has been building out all of these developer assets. You know, when you talk about the developer program itself, the developer hub, the learning paths, Innovation Coffee was already here, YouTube was already here, Twitter was already here, Discord was kind of already here, but the developer program brought all of this together, which then led way to the launch of our Reddit channel, our subreddit, that is. And so the developer program kind of brought all of this together. Now, throughout the year, last year, we kind of called it the year of discovery, right? So last year was the first year that all three of us evangelists were actually working together. I mean, Michael started in February of last year. Gabriel barely started in October of 2022. You know, so we were out there discovering, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. And along with this, of course, requires several offsites. So offsite, or at least the way we refer to an offsite, is when the team itself, or the team that manages these developer things, get together somewhere in the world. And so we did that on several occasions. There, I set the stage. Gabe, did you want to talk about yours?
Well, there is two of them. So the first one, Michael wasn't there for, was the first meeting in Cambridge for me. Was that January or February?
That was you're talking about the big marketing all hands, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was definitely an experience.
Yeah, that must have been late January, because like Robert wanted me to go to that when we were interviewing and going through the hiring process. You really wanted me to get on board so that I can go to that. But
you didn't have a passport.
My passport expired during the pandemic, right? And I sent it off for renewal, and I paid for the expedited renewal process that was only supposed to take like 2 weeks. It ended up taking like 6 weeks instead. So I just wasn't able to make that one.
Yeah, I remember that one. It was funny because it was really informative. Like, we learned a lot. We did a bunch of activities as the whole marketing org, which was great. But because I was so new, I was still learning names like in the small bubble around us. And then all of a sudden I get thrown into an environment with like 150 new names I have to learn. And it was a lot, but it was a lot of fun. But I just remember being completely overwhelmed. And it's like, after talking to someone, I would go over and like make a note on my phone so I could remember what their name was next time I talked to them. And
that didn't work.
No, it did not. I tried, though. The effort was there.
Yeah. Nice. Did you want to talk about our other one that the evangelist team had, Mike?
So mine's actually a little bit weird. I realized this past year that I have not worked in an office for like 15 years.
Dang.
I've been remote since I started at Canonical. I visited Canonical's office in London once, and that was just like for an hour visit. I didn't actually work there. So last year I worked, we worked at the Austin office, and then we worked in the San Jose office, and then we worked in the Cambridge office. So like, that was my first office work experience in a decade and a half. So it's kind of weird that that's a highlight. I'm very much a 100% remote person. I do not want to go back to the office, but just being back in that environment and having coworkers all around was kind of a nice experience. I'm happy to do that a few times a year. and looking forward to that. I didn't get to visit the Raleigh office when I was out at All Things Open. I think it was still fairly new at the time, so I don't even know where it is. But I'm hoping to go visit that this coming year. And you guys have an office opening up now in San Jose, right?
San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
Yeah, we might be very soon. At least that's what I'm told, and that will be very exciting. Gabe, I'll still be working from home, but I'm going to need you to go to the office.
It's a half an hour 25 minutes to get to your place, and then it's still I have to continue in that direction. So
yeah, no, but that is actually a good I guess segue into the fact that our innovation coffee, so I've been discussing this with the building manager, the facilities manager, and we will have a dedicated innovation coffee space there. Now I know we started building out our studio in this other kind of office location, but we put that a bit on hold, so we didn't actually go full swing into that studio because we got word that this office was opening. And so instead of investing money into this studio, we said, hey, let's just do bare bones outfit for this studio that we have now while we wait for this new office to open. And when this new office opens, that's where we will actually be building out our real studio. And I am very excited about that one because it's in the plans. Like it's literally in the building facility management plans. And so I'm excited to see what they do with that. They're actually putting up walls and building a special room just for us.
Nice.
We also have a demo room and a storage room. So, people who have not seen what the rest of my garage looks like, or what our studio
looks like,
or what the studio looks like, you can't see what's behind the camera, but we have a lot of stuff. And all that stuff needs to be stored properly instead of us hopping over it and walking over it just to get to our chairs in the studio. So it'll be very nice.
Yeah, it's like a 1 foot wide spot to get around the desk to where you see Robert.
Yes.
All that stuff is really nice, though. So one of my other highlights from the past year is actually being able to set up this kind of like recording area here in my basement. In the past, every time I've done any kind of like live broadcast or show or anything, it's just been on that really terrible, built-in webcam on my laptop, the built-in microphone, whatever terrible lighting I had in my office or wherever I was working from. So to actually have, I've got 3-point lighting now. I've got the good camera. You can't see it, but there's a really nice microphone right here. So like it all feels so much more professional than anything else I've done before. So being able to set this up, being a part of Innovation Coffee this past year has really been a lot of fun for me.
You're a professional now, Michael.
I am, yeah.
All right, so let's take this again back to a higher level here, all right? So some highlights from 2023. ARM now has, at least based on some of the stuff that I collected that ARM posted. So ARM posted this in the wrap. I'm hoping that the data has been assessed or at least, vetted somewhat correctly. ARM has 15 million developers building on ARM around the world. That's a huge number. I don't know exactly how many developers there are in general, just like around the world, like 100 million, 50 million. I have no idea. But to say 15 million developers around the world are building on ARM is enormous. I mean, you could look at the size of some of these huge companies, NVIDIA, Amazon, Intel, whatever you want to look at. And I mean, like adding even up all of their engineering bases, you're not going to reach 15 million. So that means that there are people all over the world working on ARM, whether or not you're building something for someone else or for yourself. I want to say cheers to you. Cheers to being one of those 15 million developers. Now, on top of that, 1,000 plus open source projects have ARM participation tied to it, meaning that ARM has participated, ARM engineers, ARM folks have participated and contributed to over 1,000 open source repositories. That is crazy. That is huge. So, cheers to the ARM engineers and thanks to the ARM engineers for, playing their role and their part. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to us for playing their part in contributing to the open source world, because open source is, I feel, a huge component, if not one of the biggest components of development. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of bring that in. I have another few high level things I wanted to cover here, but I think maybe we could go into one of your guys' stuff. You want to go talk about another highlight?
Sure. One of the things, and this is one of the more recent items, is the Raspberry Pi 5 finally came out. I kind of jumbled those words together. And it's one of those things that it was just kind of a long time. Everyone was waiting on it. And then when they finally released it and reviewers got their hands on it, it did not disappoint. It's like,
Is it out? Like, can you go buy it right now?
And yes. So you can, most websites, you might be on a waiting list for it. But yes, it's technically out. You can get your hands on it. And and it seems like such a great device. There were a lot of things with the Raspberry Pi 4 where it was just slightly, or it had just not quite enough power. Just a little bit more would have made it work for whatever I needed to do. So this one, it's like double the power. There's a lot of benefits to it. I mean, all these, it's not just a horsepower upgrade. There's a lot of upgrades to it overall. And yeah, I foresee this year doing a lot with it. So
if I could add to that launch, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I was trailing off. You're good.
So if I could add to that launch, along with the Raspberry Pi, Microsoft announced their Cobalt 100 ARM 64-bit processor. And I think that this is another huge step in terms of the infrastructure space. So we have the Raspberry Pi that addresses kind of like the single board computers, obviously a huge developer platform that's been around for a decade now. And then you have this infrastructure space, the infrastructure space where Amazon Web Services, obviously got their Graviton chipsets all based on Neoverse. You have Ampere Computing with their chipsets, their eMag chipsets. And then now you have Microsoft coming into the game. Microsoft's coming into the game announcing their Cobalt 100 64-bit processor with 128 cores. This is supposed to reduce the consumption of power, their power consumption, by up to 40% compared to the other chips that have been in their Azure offerings. So another huge thing, right? You have only a few more players in the game that need to kind of step on this boat, right? Because we got Oracle left. Who else do we got left? We got Amazon, who's already got their chipsets. We have now we have Microsoft pulling out theirs for their Azure offerings. We have Oracle left, but they're obviously using Ampere. So any of the other offerings are most likely going to continue to use Ampere. So what else can happen here in this infrastructure space? I think it's pretty exciting times. Now, I don't think that from what I understand, we asked, what was it? Kutak, his name was, let me get it right here. Kunal Patak. So we asked Kunal Patak from Microsoft when he was on our Innovation Coffee if he's gotten an opportunity to use these Cobalt chipsets. And he said that they are actually in some of the racks, but not publicly available. So people are playing with them already, but not available to the public yet. So I think that's really cool.
It does. It feels like the last year has seen this kind of massive shift towards ARM, kind of across the board, right? Like it was always in phones, but it was really kind of hidden. You never really interacted much directly with the CPU on phones. You had an abstraction layer. And Graviton's been out for a few years now, but like on the server, there's this big shift now going towards ARM CPUs. All of the major clouds that you just mentioned, they're either making their own chips or they're using Ampere chips, but they're all pushing for people to start migrating their workloads over to ARM CPUs. And everybody we've talked to at these events who has, server infrastructure software, they've done it, they're in the process of doing it, or they have plans to start doing that migration. So like there's this big shift going on there. But then again, on the other side of things, we're seeing it also kind of happening on the very small stuff. Raspberry Pi introduced their first custom chip, the RP2040. That's based on the Cortex-M cores. Arduino has started picking up ARM processors when traditionally that wasn't one that they typically used. So, on the small end, on the microcontroller side, we're seeing a lot more kind of like big names and, things that people are familiar with switching over to ARM. So kind of across the board from the big to small, we're seeing this shift. And we're seeing it on laptops too. There's some big brand name laptops now that are running ARM CPUs. All the work that went into Windows on ARM, that's going to be enabling a lot of that to happen. It's like the entire compute. Our motto has been, the future of computing is on ARM, and it really feels like that's happening. That we're seeing that movement, all the way across the board, where people are starting to look at ARM as an alternative and maybe like the first choice even for new development. So that's really exciting to see, and I think that's going to make next year, well, this year now, 2024, a really big year for us.
Yeah, adding on to that, because you were mentioning like the whole range, and you mentioned laptops, I wanted to just highlight too one of the things. It'll be released in this year, but it was announced, I believe, October, which is all the laptops that are going to be coming out with Qualcomm's X Elite processors, which are supposed to compete with Apple Silicon. So everything, I'm just looking forward to the deluge of Windows on ARM laptops that'll be like high performance, high efficiency laptops. I know, like right now, the work laptop I use is x86, so I'd love to be able to get an ARM-based laptop with some real horsepower behind it.
Love it. So, you mind if I take this high level one more time, guys?
Yeah,
No,
go for it.
of course.
Okay, so let's talk about the developer program, right? I kind of gave a high level, let's call it history or timeline a minute ago, where this program kind of started to take form in October of last year. Well, when I refer to these numbers, I'm kind of referring to October. So October of 2022, so I say last year, was when this started. Since then, the ARM developer program has accrued 9,000 plus members into this program. That is huge. Now, our goals are to hit a little bit more than this, meaning that if you're watching this on demand or you're watching right now and you have not signed up to the ARM developer program, head on over to the ARM developer program website, click that little sign up button and get your information in there so that we can welcome you into the ARM developer program and start giving you resources. Boom, link below. 9,000 members. Of those 9,000 plus members, we have had already 89. I think it's more by now, but I think it's 89 plus, we'll say, ARM ambassadors. Now, this is kind of like our second tier above the program, or inside the ARM developer program. You have members and then you have ARM ambassadors. So I would like to thank every single one of those 89 ARM ambassadors for being a big part of the ARM developer program, and all 9,000 plus members who have joined since October of 2022. On top of that, the program managed to launch what we call the ARM Developer Hub. Now, this Developer Hub is an interactive place rendered in by our backend GitHub repository. So we have a GitHub repository that people in the community, anyone in the world, can go fork our repository, create what we call learning paths. This Developer Hub not only includes learning paths. I'm tangenting all over the place. The Developer Hub is this huge place where you can go fork off into a bunch of different ARM developer activities. Cool. One of these activities is the ARM developers learning paths. Now, these learning paths is a special site that's rendered by a backend GitHub repository. There's the link below, and you can actually go contribute learning paths to this area. Now, similar to what you might experience with, like, I want to throw out there like Hackster.io, where you kind of showcase your projects and stuff. This is kind of similar to that, but a little bit, I want to say, more leaning on the technical side, and of course, focused on developing on ARM. Well, since the launch of the ARM Developer Hub, which happened in June of last year, 2023, we've had over 170 learning paths that have been contributed to this place, with 50 plus installation guides. And this was all done by 24 roughly contributors, right? I want to say slightly more. So think about that. There are 24 people out there who contributed over 170 learning paths. That's not to say that that's an easy task. That's a very hard task. They did a lot of work this last year to get these learning paths up there, and some of them are not even from ARM. These are people in the community. These are people from our partner companies. So if you're out there and you feel like you have something that you've built that you want to showcase and you want to share with the world, head on over to learn.arm.com and check that out. See if you feel like contributing it into the learning paths. One other thing I wanted to talk about was the launch or the relaunch and growth of our Discord server. We kind of touched on this, but I think that this is just huge. And I think that it's great for people to get involved here. We have our ARM Discord server. This is the official ARM software developer Discord server. You can go to discord.gg/ARM software dev. We have reached, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up the exact number right now instead of just guessing here. We've reached 6.37 thousand members. All right. So there are 6.37 thousand members in our Discord server, and more people keep joining by the day. This is just amazing. To see people in there talking about their experiences, the things they're building, embedded system, microcontrollers, all the way to, working on ARM laptops, AI, ML, etc. Right? Server space, infrastructure. We have all these channels kind of allocated, designated for people to share these different kind of categories, things that they're doing in these different categories. But we also have places for those to interact for experiences like this. We have an innovation coffee chat room. We have an ARM Tech Talks chat room. We have an ARM TV chat room. So for those of you who like to interact in this type of experience, there's also ways for us to continue our conversation in Discord after this episode ends. So I just want to say thank you for all the members of our Discord server as well. And we look forward to continuing to engage with you and work with you, collaborate with you, however you want to call it, in 2024, because there's lots and lots of more fun stuff for us to do together. So yeah, cheers to that. Those are some good numbers. 9,000 members, 89 ambassadors, 170 learning paths, 24 contributors, 6.37 thousand Discord members. I mean, it's just huge. All this happened in a year.
And I don't think we can talk about the ARM developer program without also giving a shout out to our ARM experts. These are people we have recruited internally. They're ARM engineers, they're product managers, even interns have joined the program. And these are people who have dedicated some of their time to working with our community and interacting directly with our software developers. So they've been in our Discord. You'll see them chatting to people there. They've contributed some of those learning paths. They've been guests on our innovation coffee or in our office hours. So they've really become a part of our community and really help add a lot more expertise to it than the three of us here could do by ourselves. And I think we're up to like 150 or so.
No, it's like 200 plus.
200 plus now. Okay, wow. That's a huge commitment that folks inside of ARM are doing for the wider software developer community. So huge thank you to all of them who have participated and helped us out.
One last thing I want to talk about here. There's more that I want to talk about, but one thing I just wanted to bring up, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it's not really developer related. But I do want to just celebrate the fact that it happened. The ARM IPO, I thought that was pretty cool. ARM going public, and I think that there was a nice lot of hype around it, and I just wanted to celebrate that. It's something that happened last year, so I just wanted to go cheers to ARM once again, cheers to everything that ARM has achieved in 2024 to that regard, and congratulations to anyone following along or being a part of that. I thought that
was interesting seeing that happen from the inside. I've never been a part of a company that's gone IPO before, so just seeing all of the lead up work that had to happen, all of the rules and regulations that we all had to learn while that was happening. It was a really interesting process to be a part of.
Yep. Yeah, it was interesting. And one of the unintended benefits is now there's a lot of people who are not in the tech industry who know our name. And I'm getting asked less. Okay, well, what is ARM?
Or that's a win.
Yeah. It's funny because one of the questions we have gotten a lot at events are, people saying, what is ARM? And we're like, well, the ARM architecture? Like, of course. Wait, there's a company there? So it was kind of funny that people know the architecture, but not the company.
Yes. So What else? What else do we have on the list here, gentlemen? Or are we getting close to calling this? Because I mean, no joke, we could go through the ARM news of 2023 and probably spend 17 days talking here nonstop. Because so much stuff happens in the ARM ecosystem. This goes from the things that ARM is doing all the way to the things our partners are doing on ARM, all the way to the things that our developers are doing on ARM. And so there's a lot to talk about, but we each kind of picked some of our highlights. Did you guys want to cover anything else before we kind of?
So I think before we wrap this show, it's a review of 2023, but I think it would also be fun to kind of look ahead to 2024. Talk about the things that we're looking forward to, and I don't know, maybe make some predictions of things that we think are going to happen or come out in the next year, so that we can look back on this a year from now and see how well we did.
Okay, so prediction number one for me is that we will have an innovation coffee every Thursday at 5 p.m. UTC. So make sure that you tune in, like, and subscribe to get notifications. That's prediction number one.
I feel like that's cheating a little bit.
No, it's true. But yeah, prediction number two, I want to say that one of our big goals here, right, is I don't want to like kind of say ARM as a whole, but here as developer evangelists, sitting here talking to you face to face for the most part, as much face to face as you all want it to be. And I think that's the key, right? Is that us evangelists are here and we want opportunities to hang out and work with and collaborate with the developers in our community. And so I think that one of the big predictions that I have, or one of the big things that I'm hoping happens in 2024, is just more interactions, more opportunities for us to work together with our developer community. And so this can be through Discord. This can be just hitting one of us up on Discord or anywhere, finding us, sending us an email and asking for a call, right? Getting together with us, giving us information about what you need, what needs to be done to enable you as a developer to do better, working more efficiently, and building more robust products with ARM, more robust services, whatever it is. We want to be there for you. And so I want 2024 to be kind of that the year where us evangelists start working more closely with you guys, with you all. So please, right now I'm saying this is face to face, but it really isn't. It's not face to face until you give us that opportunity. And so, we will seek you all out, but you got to hit us up too, and let us know how we can work with you. And also tell us what you need done better and how we can bring that information into ARM to help get you the tools and the resources that you need. And that's what we're here for. We're that bridge. We are the bridge to your needs. And we will work our butts off to make sure that you get what you need. And that's what I'm looking forward to in 2024.
Well, for me, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is, as you said earlier, 2023 was a year of discovery. So now 2024, taking everything that we learned, we have the events kind of dialed in that we want to go to and that we want to put real effort into. We have kind of a general consensus within like our Discord of what's been working, what hasn't, and we've tuned it, or we've learned a lot to be able to tune it more towards what works. And so I'm looking forward to this year just being able to really act on everything we learned on last year.
Great. No, that's awesome.
Also, Open Sauce 2024. Looking forward to it.
We're all looking forward to Open Sauce, aren't we?
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
That was such a fun event. So for me, Gabe already mentioned this a little bit, but I think we're going to see more ARM laptops this year. I think we're going to see maybe 3 or 4 lines of ARM laptops hit the market this year and really kind of start to be the developer preference. I know we all talked about like battery life and stuff that are available for this. So I think developer laptops in the future, starting this year, are going to be running on ARM, especially since you can do end-to-end development then with your ARM servers or your ARM microcontrollers. So
build on ARM for ARM.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, cross-compiling is a thing of the past.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
one thing I'm personally looking forward to that I think we're going to see this year is I think you're going to see a lot more of these guys, our arm bots. We put some work into them in the later part of 2023. We've given them personalities and kind of almost backstories almost. So I'm looking forward to see what fun things we're going to do. I think by the end of 2024, most of our developer community is going to know all of their names and start to have like favorite arm bots. So that's the fun thing that I'm looking forward to in the next year.
Yeah, and I might end up doing some sort of competition to decide which arm bot I get tattooed. We'll see. But yeah.
Isn't it a given that it'll just be Bob?
I was going to say, we all know it's going to be Bob.
It's going to be Bob. I'm going to rig the numbers. I'll rig the ballots, whatever it is. But, that's just great. And, we have Terrius Python there who commented about the ARM laptops. And, you can kind of see the trend here, right? Like you have lots of effort going into bringing ARM to almost every single space there is in the tech sector, or in the tech verticals, whatever you want to call it, automotive, infrastructure, AI, IoT,
all over. Yeah.
ARM is being brought to all of these different areas. And why wouldn't it make sense for your developer device to be ARM based if ARM is everywhere else? And so, I think that that's just great. The work that, you see with the Lenovo X13, I think it is, where Qualcomm and Lenovo and Microsoft are all kind of working together to build stuff. And you have Pine 64, right, putting out their Pine books and their Pine tabs and stuff like that. You have basically ARM in every single other mobile and tablet device. And the next step would be seeing some real hardcore compute in the trunk of a car, running those AI vehicles driving all around San Francisco. And, it's just that there's still a lot to be done. But it's just nice to be, I think, observing firsthand this journey that ARM is taking. So really cool. I do want to just celebrate one other thing here, if that's okay.
Yeah,
sure.
We forgot to mention, I think one of the cool things that happened also in 2023, which was the onboarding or welcoming of Ami Badani, which is our new CMO at ARM. And this was announced. I'm going to share the press release here. So we have Ami Badani, who joined in November, I believe, and I'm very excited to see what she has to bring to the table. Marketing is a huge part of what we talked about earlier, where when we're at events and people say, well, what's ARM? Why is ARM here? What's ARM? Or when you search online, you search ARM, you literally get pictures of biceps. It's like, bringing us up on the SEO and making our name more recognizable. And I think that, I'm very excited to see where this goes, and personal welcome to Ami Badani. I'm going to get this right eventually. Ami Badani, who joins us as CMO of ARM, and it's going to be exciting times.
And she came to us from NVIDIA too, so like she already knows the industry. NVIDIA is such a success story, right? Like they've grown massively. They're doing so well with all the AI stuff. So to have somebody jump from that success into ARM to help us kind of match that is really exciting. Yeah.
So anyone who wants to go check out that press release from November, you can kind of actually go. Yeah, it talks about her history and the likes. So yeah, she's VP over at NVIDIA and did some pretty amazing stuff throughout her career. So that should be very, very nice for 2024. Awesome. So yeah, top of the hour, guys.
I want to say, for anybody watching this, I want to hear what your predictions are for 2024, especially around ARM. So join our Discord, drop your ideas or predictions or hopes and dreams in there, and let's hear about what everyone else is excited for in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, an ask. We should probably make this an ask too. Like we're trying to get community status, I think, or was it partner status? Do they still have that available on Discord, or do they cancel that?
There was a thing a couple months ago where they were like they put it on hold or they're revamping it or something. I'm not sure. I haven't looked back into it recently, so
Yeah,
we'll have to go see if that's still a thing that Discord is doing.
yeah, and I'll be doing a small revamp to Discord very soon too. So we'll be seeing some more exciting things happening in there, some more interactive activities, and hopefully maybe even integrating in some custom ARM games. Gabe, I don't know.
So, unless Discord makes a change, their SDK allows the other way around. You can integrate Discord features into your game, but you can't incorporate your game into Discord, as much as I would like that.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. Send them an email.
But either way,
I actually did. I sent him an email last year, probably September-ish, saying
nice.
that's something I wanted.
Either
Very
way,
nice.
join our Discord. Robert shared the numbers earlier. It keeps growing bigger and bigger. December was one of our most active months. So yeah, there's a lot happening there. There's a lot of really cool, interesting, super intelligent people there that you get to talk to. So make sure you join that. We can continue that conversation all day, every day over in Discord.
Nice. All right. So then let's close this out, gentlemen. Mike, I opened it up. Do you want to close it or do you want me to close it?
I'll go ahead and let you close it because I wasn't prepared for that.
Okay. Everyone, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We really appreciate it. It's like I'm saying a prayer almost, but no, we definitely appreciate it. And hopefully we look forward to seeing you next week, every single week, Thursday at 5 p.m. UTC. We go live. Gabe, do we have a guest scheduled or lined up for next week? Do you want to kind of shine some light on that real quick?
Do vamp for like 10 seconds as I load that up.
Okay. 1, 2.
Oh, now you made it pressure.
Super awkward. Yeah. No, it's okay. Let's just talk about the guest.
No, we've got that. We've got David Brown and
David Brown from Lenaro.
David, from Lenaro, and I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Wilfred from ARM. They're going to be talking about Rust on ARM. So kind of continuing the series we've done with Java on ARM and .NET on ARM. We're going to be talking about Rust on ARM next week.
That is excellent, and that is next week.
Yes.
All right. So tune in next week to check that out. We have some folks from Lenaro and ARM who will be talking about Rust on ARM. And I think that it will be a fun episode. So we look forward to seeing you there. Now, on top of that, if you enjoyed this episode, like every other time, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And we look forward to seeing you next week or on Discord. Y'all have a wonderful day. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. And welcome back or welcome to 2024. This is Innovation Coffee. Y'all have a good one. Mike, Gabe, take care, buddies.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.